guys, it's Mamie. I hope you're well. It is Saturday, January 25th, 2020. It's the last Saturday of January. My goodness, who knew January could go so fast? I thought I would do a video on my recent reads, so here we go. The first book that I read this week was, well, not this week, I think I read it last week, 84 Charing Crossroad by Hanff. This was quite a delight. Epistolary gem. If you love epistolary novels, then you're going to love this one. It's fantastic. It's about a New Yorker. She lives in New York. She's an author, a writer, and she is looking for particular books in New York City. And she's a starving artist, basically. So when she goes to these bookstores to try to find the book she's looking for, they're too costly for her. So she writes to a British bookseller, and they become fast friends over many, many decades of writing back and forth, with her requesting books, with him shipping them to her in New York. And it was during the time when the UK was being rationed with certain foods like eggs and I think meat, canned meat, or meat in general. So she would send them baskets for Easter and Christmas of canned meat and eggs as Christmas gifts to the bookseller and his staff. And over the years they developed these wonderful friendships, and it was just very heartwarming and a very lovely, lovely story. Loved this book. Highly recommend it. And then I read August 9 Fog by Kathryn Scanlan. I thought I would love this one just as much, but it didn't quite live up to what I was hoping for it. But I loved the concept. The concept is the author she went to an estate sale, and she found this old tattered journal in a bin that was going to be put out for trash. It was damaged, the spine was broken on it, you could tell it had water damage, most of it was undecipherable, but she bought it anyways. She took it home, and I think in her introduction she said that she sat on it for like 10 years, and she would refer to it once in a while, but a lot of it was illegible, so she couldn't really, read what it was about. But anyways, she dissected it, she edited it, and she made this book. And I love the concept. To me, is more exciting than the actual book itself is. There's, you could read it in minutes. I'm telling you, 15 minutes you could have this read. It was good. I mean, I liked it, but not what I thought it was going to be. Okay, and then I read The Revisioners by Margaret Wilkerson Sexton. Loved this book, as I loved, what was her other book? Freedom? A Kind of Freedom. I think I read that last year, didn't I? Last year, 2019 or 2018. Can't remember, guys. The memory's not what it used to be, but I loved that one as well. But this one I liked even more. This is a story told from two time periods, basically. Josephine, 1924, she's a black woman who was enslaved as a little girl, and she now owns land. Her husband worked very hard to buy land from the white landowner who had a gambling problem, so he would sell parcels of land little by little for him to be able to continue gambling. So they own this huge plantation, Josephine. So it goes back to 1924, and it also goes back to like 1855 when she was a little girl, and they were enslaved, and all the issues that they ran into back then. You know all about that. So, and then it goes from that to Ava, who is a descendant of Josephine. I don't remember how many great grandchildren she would be, but she's a descendant of Josephine. And Ava, is it Ava or Eva? No, it's Ava, right? Yeah, it's Ava. Sorry, I get names mixed up all the time. It's 2017. She has a son, King, and she just recently got laid off from her job. So her white grandmother, Martha, has told her she would pay her the same income she was making before she got laid off if she would come live with her in her mansion as her companion. Now, Grandmother Martha already has a cook, so Ava doesn't have to be her cook, and she also has a nurse, so she doesn't have to do, the heavy lifting of taking care of her questionably is she healthy? I don't know. She's healthy, but she's not. I don't know. So she doesn't have to do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to taking care of her. Basically, her grandmother wants her to be her companion, to keep her company. So Ava thinks it's a great opportunity for her to take advantage of this, get the money from her grandmother, and then she'll have enough money for a down payment for her own place for her and her son. So it starts out okay, you know, and then some weird things start happening, and then, you know, it becomes questionable whether or not the grandmother's health is, it becomes a little erratic, and it's a little bit scary for her. So this story is about women's relationships. It's women's relationships with one another. It's women's relationships with their children, female or male. It's about powerful women. It's about weak women who don't stand up to their abusive husbands. It's just a wonderful story, and I mean, I don't do any book justice, because when I love a book, I get so tongue-tied because I have so much to tell you, but I'm afraid to tell you too much because I don't want to ruin the story for you. So it's not that easy trying to tell you how good a book is without ruining it for you. So that's all I can say is just trust me and just read it, because it's so good. It's so good. So then after I read those, I listened to, I have my Goodreads up over here. It's called The Creative Habit, Learn It and Use It for Life. The Creative Habit, Learn It and Use It for Life. I don't have it because I listened to it. By Twyla Tharp. Now this book, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought it was about, you know, creative journaling, you know, junk journaling. I don't know why I thought it was, but she's a dancer. She's a choreographer and a dancer, and it's about that creative, artsy life of dancing and music and, you know, composing, and it's about that, which was good. I mean, it just wasn't what I had expected. I don't know why I thought it was about journaling. I don't know if somebody recommended it to me or what. I don't remember now, but it was about that with her structured life of becoming a disciplined dancer. I mean, they have to get up early and go dance, and they have to exercise all the time and eat certain foods, and, you know, their lifestyle is very strict, you know, which was very, it's very interesting to me. So it was good. I enjoyed it. I'll put it in the description down below, the actual entire title, so you can look it up if you're interested. So that is all I read recently, guys. Let's see, what else? I finished, I think the last time I actually had a recent reads video, I told you how I was watching Anne with an E on Netflix. I finished that series. It was season 3, which was adorable. Not to say that, you know, there weren't struggles for Anna Green Gables. I mean, her life wasn't perfect, but she always had the most positive outlook on life, and she'd always pull through, and it was just a very endearing story. I loved it. I thought they did a great job with the show, but then I heard that it's not coming back for season 4, which is very disappointing, but it was good nonetheless. And then I started watching Outlander on Netflix. Now, I have to admit, I'm probably in the minority here saying that my book club, we attempted to read the first book of Outlander a few years ago. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but none of us enjoyed it. It's that old English language, really wordy and tedious, and I did not enjoy the book at all. So I hadn't watched the show for the longest time, thinking, well, I didn't like the book, I probably won't like the show. Well, I love the show. Totally different than the book. I mean, it's the same storyline. You know, it follows the book, but it's not a difficult read like I thought it was, you know, when I was reading the book. Love it. And then, let's see. I told you last time that I learned how to knit, so I finished that scarf with the knit stitch, and then I watched some YouTube videos trying to learn the purl stitch, and I have learned how to do that, but it's a lot harder than the knit stitch, so I'm a little frustrated with that. To me,
as I'm doing it, the work, it looks the same to me. I know it's supposed to look different. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I don't know. So I'm making this. This is crochet. This is the basket weave stitch, I think. And it's a scarf. I'm not done yet, but it'll be nice and warm. I don't know if you can see the stitch or not, but it's fun. It's pretty easy. You could do it when you're watching TV or something, or listening to an audiobook. It's very easy. And then my next book that I'm picking up next is my book club book pick for Barnes & Noble. Our meeting, I think, is February 4th, next Tuesday. So it's called Dear Edward by Anne Napolitano. And I believe this is also Jenna Bush's pick on the morning show. She has a book club as well. So it's kind of neat that I got it from Book of the Month Club. And so I'll be able to read it for Barnes & Noble and for Jenna's. So I can get that done with all in one book. So that's it for me. Thank God Todd's not home today to scare me. I don't know if you watched my last video from last week or not, but Toddy scared the living daylights out of me as I was trying to film. So I'm filming this earlier in the day today because I know he won't be home from work for a few more hours. So we're safe today, guys. Thank you. I appreciate all of your comments last week. They were so fun. I appreciate you watching and taking the time to watch these silly videos. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care, guys. Bye.